Attention Kansas City, you do not want to miss the gospel stage play of the year, entitled When Ministry Becomes Competition. It's happening July 26th through the 28th, 6:30 p.m. We're talking original music, top-tier performances, a stage play that will keep you laughing on the edge of your seat. For more information, visit the Facebook page, Booker T. Fleming, or you can call 816-877-7072. Again, Facebook page Booker T. Fleming, or call 816-877-7072. Again, the Gospel Stage Play of the Year, just off the Broadway Theater, location 3051 Central Street, July 26th through the 28th, 6:30 p.m. We'll see you there.
Welcome to Elevating Men. I'm A.L. Johnson. I'm your host. Listen, people, we got a great show lined up for you today. I am super excited. I've been waiting for this show all week long. We are back every Monday evening, and so make sure you share it with your network, because I'm telling you, we are having some great conversations. We got some good things lined up. Before I go into announcements and thank yous, I've got a couple of those I need to do. I have to announce these men that you see on the panel.
Attention Kansas City, you do not want to miss the Gospel Stage Play of the Year.
It don't even want to stop. It don't even want to stop telling you what's going on. Listen. So I know you see some familiar faces, but there may be one unfamiliar face. And so I want to start with him. We have in the building today, Mr. Booker T. Fleming. He is a writer, a producer, a director, a musician. He does it all. And he has a gospel stage play that's coming to town July 26th through the 28th. The name of it is man, this is crazy. Hold on. It's not ministry, it's competition. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. The male ego and how competition destroys our communities. And it just stops us from growing. It stops us from growing. But we're going to dig into that. Before we do, and before I announce these other fellas, I want to give Mr. Fleming a quick second to tell you about the play, what you can expect, and why it's so exciting. Mr. Fleming.
Hey, how's everybody doing?
Great. How are you?
Doing good. So this play is going to be very unique. First and foremost, God has given me this play. All the songs that you're going to hear in this play is going to be all original music, and it's going to be part play, part cinematic video. So as you come into this play, you're going to see some things acted out before you, and you're going to see some things on the screen. Also, what makes this unique is that you're going to be able to, if you're VIP members, you're going to be able to get served throughout the show food and drinks and desserts. And so it's going to be a real nice little AMC theater, dine-in type of thing. But it's going to be a great show. We have some great actors. One of those great actors is Bishop right there. I call him, I'm his better half. You know what I'm saying? He's blessed to have me as a son, just to be honest. But yeah, we have some great singers. And this play is going to be about the competition with that's in the church. We all know that it's happening, and so it's time to address it, talk about it, expose it, and hopefully bring some healing to the body of Christ.
Thank you. Appreciate that. So listen, how can they get their tickets? I know they want to know.
Okay. So right now, before July happens, you can Cash App Booker T Productions, and it's very simple. You're going to put into the memo what day you want to come. And so once that comes in, we put your Cash App name down. And so whenever you get to the door, you just give us your Cash App name, and then we'll have you on the list. But if something is to happen, just make sure you bring your receipt on your Cash App. And it's pretty much that simple. The Cash App is Booker T Productions. When you Cash App that, it's going to be $25 for standard entry, and it's going to be $50 for that VIP that I had mentioned about getting served throughout the show. And so $25 standard entry is first come, first serve. So if you get there late, you might have to sit towards the back, but if you get there early, you get to sit towards the front. But that VIP gets you early access. It's going to get you dinner before the show with the cast, so you get to meet the cast, ask questions, rub shoulders with us, and so right now through Cash App. But in July, we're going to go through Eventbrite, and that's going to be on our website, which we're working on right now. And so, but right now, Cash App Booker T Productions.
Love it. Appreciate that, man. Thanks for giving us the rundown. And so before we get into the content of today's show, I do have a couple of thank yous and a couple of announcements. First, I want to thank Cerise Hall and Mount Calvary Baptist Church. She allowed A.L. Johnson Life Insurance Agency to come in on Wednesday and do a financial literacy class talking about the importance of life insurance. And so I want to thank them. We also want to thank KU and the Center of African American Health. They had a Juneteenth festival this Friday. There was a mental health panel that included Dr. Caleb Stevens as well as Dr. Chandra Green, and we had an excellent conversation. I believe everyone that was in attendance was able to take something from that. So we definitely want to thank them. We appreciate that opportunity. We do have a couple of announcements, and so I'm going to put a flyer up here. Elevating Men has a conference that's coming up July 13th. So make sure that you mark your calendars, July 13th. Our guest speaker is going to be Dr. Ryan Harvey. This man, listen, he will get you motivated. And so you definitely want to be there. But not only do we have speaking, this is going to be a practical informational session where you can actually take something with you and use it to build and develop your life. So there's going to be free breakfast. But in addition to that, there's going to be health screenings that are going to be provided by Simbi Holistic Health. And so blood pressure checks, check your A1C level. June is actually Men's Health Month. And so I want you to put this on your calendar for July to make sure that you do those checks. It's so important. We can actually prevent heart attacks and the majority of strokes if we are proactive. And so we're going to give you an opportunity to do that 100% free of charge. Make sure you share this with the men in your life. We're also going to have financial literacy provided by A.L. Johnson Life Insurance Agency as well as Bank Midwest. So we're going to be talking about budgeting. We're going to be talking about credit, how to purchase a home, all of those things, again, free of charge. And we have the Men's Wellness Collective, which is a group of therapists that will be there. And so if you need to talk to someone, schedule an appointment, work through some traumas, we have that available for you as well. So we're trying our best to do the best that we can to follow our mission. And so for those of you that don't know the mission, I'm just going to tell you, our mission is to help men live happy, healthy, healed, and productive lives. Why? Because we believe that strong men build strong families, and strong families build strong communities. And so that's the goal here. And so let's start getting into the content. Before we do that, I do want to go ahead and point out the familiar faces, let them have an opportunity to speak. First off, Mr. Dinner and Dialogue, Andrew Boykin, how you doing this evening?
Hey, I'm doing great. I just want to get into the content, man. I'm glad to be back. Glad to see two faces that look identical on the screen. I met this Booker T gentleman. He looks like Mike Patton. And of course, there's the infamous LaRon Barnes. I'm happy, man.
Yes, sir. Mr. LaRon Barnes, how you doing, sir?
Listen, I'm better than good and better than most, man. It's another day to be back on to really put out to the world what needs and can be changed so that we can live in this better world. So I'm excited about what we're going to discuss today, and just hearing about the play that Brother Booker he has going on. Listen, that's a powerful conversation, powerful title for a play. Come on now. So I'm excited about this talk.
Absolutely. You know what? There's one other thing I'm excited about. I'm sorry, y'all. I keep making announcements, but LaRon, do you want to tell him? You want me to tell him how you want to do it?
You know what? I guess I'll go ahead and tell him.
All right.
So check this out. On the 30th, in a couple of weeks, me and my brother Andrew Johnson are going to do motivational moments. It's going to be at 7 o'clock starting at 9 a.m. in the morning. Make sure I didn't put that time wrong. I believe 9 a.m. in the morning. Did we do this for the starting of the Monday week? Look, we got to be motivated before Monday. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. So on Sundays at 9 a.m. before church, I'm already motivated because I'm about to go and get in the spirit. And so I'm excited about that. And we're going to put out content that will truly get you going, keep you sustained, and help change your perspective as you go forth during the week. So motivational moments starting on July the 30th at 9 a.m. Don't miss it.
That's right. That's right. We're active. And then last but not least, certainly not least, Brother Mike Patton. How you doing this evening, brother?
Hey, man, I'm blessed, and God is favoring me every minute I breathe, every second I breathe, and every time I'm able to get in front of my brothers right here and my son, Booker. I'm so proud, adamantly just overwhelmed by now what he has laid out, what he has put out, what he has sought out to do in order to now expose now those things that have been happening inside of our church, that has been a demagogue, that has been now a point of something that has been a juggernaut towards now the advancement and the movement within our church community. I'm so proud to have Brother Andrew Boykin. He's done a lot for me. He's brought me through a lot. He's been like a big brother to me. And Brother LaRon, you ought to hear this brother speak, man. He's just off the chain. So I'm so proud and so happy with him. But getting back to this whole point of Booker and this play, Booker has laid out not only directing and now filming some of it, but also acting in it. He's a great actor as well. And putting together, now this had to have been very difficult because he had to learn the lines that someone else he could have given it to, but he took upon it himself. And I just think that it's just a fabulous outline. No, I don't think that he's a Tyler Perry. I think he's an Apostle Paul. And so that's the way that I tend to look at this whole matter and this whole outline. And so I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my brother here, who is now my workout partner, Brother Andrew, for coming and training with me. I'm Mike Patton. I'm personal trainer at Mike's Main Event Personal Training Center, and I'm at Active Strength 1100 East Victoria. And so I'm so happy, and I'm so glad, and I'm so adamant about now working out and training other people that I've done for over 32 years. And also with my son and with others that's been around the community. And so health is so very important. So I want us to understand that chronic heart failure, hypertension, high blood pressure is very, very, very adamant, is very, very in the point now of being a death threat to our Black community. We have to understand that. So when we go through our a symposium and our outline dealing with this in the month of July, we're going to expose those particular things that are very much need to be addressed now. And I mean now, and I mean right now. So I'm gonna give it back to our head man.
Listen, y'all, he sounds so nice here, speaking so humbly. But I'm telling you, you get in the gym with this dude, he gets screaming at you, lift it. You know, he is
ain't nothing but a peanut, baby.
There it is.
Lightweight, baby.
So let's get into this conversation. Is the male ego destroying our community? Is the male ego destroying our community? Is it preventing us from building? do we not have the world that we could have due to our own egos? I have boys. They're competitive. They like to play sports. They love basketball. They'll come home and I'll say, hey, how was the game at the park today or whatever? And they'll say, oh, well, shoot, I scored 20 points, man. My shot was on. I was killing it. I say, okay, well, did you guys win? Well, I mean, no, we didn't win, but I was doing great. I was killing it, right? And so my question is always, do you want to be on a winning team or do you want to be the star of a losing team? When we talk about the play, you know, it's not ministry, it's competition. How many blocks do we see with several small churches? Not that there's anything wrong with the small church, but we dilute the funds, right? And I almost imagine, like, what if all of these churches, they say that we're serving the same God, we have the same mission. If that were true, what if we were able to combine those resources and maybe have fewer chiefs, but more Indians? And now we can actually open up schools. We can open up gardens, community gardens. We can actually affect change in the community versus everyone trying to be the head honcho. And so that's what we want to talk about today. Is the male ego destroying our community? I want to start with our guest, Booker T. You wrote an amazing play talking about competition in ministry. You can relate it to just the world outside of that or the church itself. But what is your answer to that question?
Wow, that's such an in-depth question. Well, to start off with that, my twin brother lives in Omaha, Nebraska. And when COVID hit, COVID actually didn't really hit Omaha like it hit Kansas City. And so there was a curfew that happened within Kansas City. And so I ended up, I was like, bro, I'm going to come up there and chill out with you for a month or so. He's like, bro, come on up, man. There's no curfew up in Omaha. Ain't nobody got COVID up here. So I came up there. And my brother lives in a good part of Omaha. And so as I get to Omaha, one day I was like, you know what? I bet you Omaha don't have a hood. So I Googled, I said, man, like, does Omaha have a hood? And so it does, right? And so I'm like, man, I'm going to go. So I want to see it because it probably can be a hood in Omaha. So when I went there, the neighborhood just got worse and worse and worse as I got into the inner city. And one day I was coming up this ramp, and then all of a sudden it was a church. And I'm like, well, dang, how many churches they got? And so something hit me. And then God said, you see what you're looking at? Why is it that in the good neighborhoods, there was like a church every like 10 miles? But when you get into the part of the city where there's poverty, where there's prostitution, where there's drugs, where there's gangs and violence, why is it that most of the crime and most of the impoverished part of the city is where all the churches are at? And so God gave me a song right then. It's actually on my page. It's called A Church on Every Corner. And so the problem is that what AL is saying is, wow, how many of these churches are building up these churches, but they're only building up so that they can be known. Okay. The African-American man, his first entitlement, his first position was the church. When you take a bunch of black men who are, and I believe, statistics shows that black man is the last one hired. He's the first one fired. He's the first one reprimanded on a job. And so when you have a bunch of black men who are struggling for positions, all right, in the world, when they come into the church, they finally get a position. And a lot of them abuse the position. But when it comes down to that, it's a fight for a position. It's a fight to be somebody, for somebody to call you a bishop, for somebody to call you a minister. That means something to him because on his job, he's just an average person. And so you'll see that a lot in our community because we're fighting for not only position, but we feel as if only one of us can make it at one time. So we don't feel like we can share the position for another black man because we feel like only one gets let in. So I can go on and on, but that's kind of, a little bit.
Man, you said a lot there, so we definitely want to unpack it. Really quick, I know there was an extra face that popped on if you've been watching. Got to give him a second to say hello. Our Vice President, Lauren Jones. How you doing, brother?
All right, what it do, man? Appreciate it, man. Excuse my tardiness, man. I was having a human moment, so I'm here now.
Hey, listen, but that's what it's about. Human moments, and you brushed it off, and you are doing what you need to do as a man, and so we appreciate you being here. But just know, if a human moment ever happens and you can't make it, we do not fault you for it at all, not at all. And so, for those of you that are just tuning in, we are talking about the male ego, competition in our community, and how it hinders our growth. Booker T just really brought up a huge point, which is there's churches on every corner. It makes no sense because a lot of times these churches are starting just because somebody wants to be the lead pastor. They want to be the bishop. They want the title. And he alluded to the fact that we are subordinate everywhere else we go. So we're always trying to build up structures and organizations so that we can be on top. Not only does that happen in the church, it happens in business. That's why you don't see large Black-owned conglomerates, right? We have small stores, but no major corporations. You see it in the nonprofit sector, where we're all trying to solve the same problem, going after the same resources, and we can't come together and make anything major that creates an impact. And so, Brother Patton, you're the bishop in the play. Again, we're talking about competition. Tell us your thoughts on what you just heard Booker share with us.
I think what Booker said was very, very pertinent. It was very interesting. There's other flip sides to this that one may look out. If you go down Highway 66, leading from Las Vegas all the way to Atlanta, it goes down through the points of Texas and goes down through Arizona. It goes down through Tennessee. It goes through Louisiana and goes up into Atlanta to the east. There's a place called the Bible Belt. And almost on every other corner, there's a church. Now, here's one thing to look at: resources and accessibility. Okay. When you look at an impoverished area, they don't have the means and the resources to really go anywhere else, nor do you see them pour a lot of money into a specific place unless they're dealing with a 501c3. So we have different government types of situations that provide. We have the same here in Kansas City. I've seen them happen. But more of the richer areas, and which is places that I attend, now have people that have the adequate resources, and they have the adequacies, and they have those that are educated to build these things now, that have now resources now of materials to now broaden their areas. And so now we look at the points of economics. Economics, you find more of the richer homes in the outer areas, in the northern areas, in the eastern areas than you do in the inner cities. And then we have to understand there's a thing called redlining. Redlining happens, and it happened here in Kansas City, where they stopped those now coming and living on the plaza and other areas that were accessible. We have to look at June 19th and what happened at that time when all these businesses were destroyed and they were taken out to other areas. We were supposed to have all these beautiful areas now outlined when they built Highway 71. But did they do it? No, they lied. And they now put Highway 71, they built Cerner, but they put no new sidewalks. They put no new areas that you can put no new churches. And so these things are very relevant when it comes to economic resources. Now, there is a situation that Booker talked about, is that when we talk about people having position, most people, okay, Black people, don't have positions in upper echelon type of jobs per capita, per the minority. Remember now, we only make up 47 million of now the population of the workforce, or even the points of America. So now that we fit in where we can get in. So now having position, and now having places, and now having the bishop, and I'm over the Kojic, and I'm over the Muslims, I'm over the Seventh-day Adventists, and I'm over, now exacerbates a whole mindset to a different way of thinking. Now you have people under you, and the people under you are not teaching the truth. They're teaching false prophecy now, because everything is geared towards the bishop. Everything in the Catholic Church is built towards the cardinal and towards the Pope. And now where does the money resources go? It goes to the big head. The small head is out. Then let me just say this. In our small churches, in the Kojic, in the Pentecostal, give 10,000, give 5,000. we have 1,000, and people are ignorant enough to believe that they're going to be blessed if they give this money, but the money goes to a new plane, the money goes to a new car, the money goes to now the situations we call a participle. It's continuing now to grow in now the offices of them. In Compton right now, there's a church right now, beautiful pastor, I met him. This man has a fish tank, this man has a Rolls Royce, and this man has a small charter plane where he has people sit right in the center of that church right now that are barely making it off a dime and a quarter. So now how does that look? How do we facilitate? How do we reach out? Do we care who is now hungry? Do we care who is homeless? We have little food programs and stuff like that. We got people running in and out of the church making $10,000 a week, $10,000 a month. But do we care? So those are things I think of a discussion that needs to be talked about. Do we really care? The Bible says, be not conformed to the things of this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of the mind. Have we entered into the person's mind to change the trajectory, that didactic of now where they are and where they could be if resources were now not handed to them, but provided to them based upon their economic resource?
Love it. I love it. First, I want to give a quick shout out to everyone who's watching. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure that you share this with your network. Malik, good vibes. Thank you, brother. I see you tagging people. I need everybody else that's watching to do the same thing, because this is a very important conversation. When we look at our communities, they're in shambles, households in shambles, neighborhoods in shambles, and we're out here competing instead of collaborating. How silly are we? And so I want to get another perspective on this. We talked about the churches and all of that, but I think competition goes further than that. And I actually believe that the root cause of competition is fear. There's a fear of loss. There's a fear of being shown that you're inadequate. It happens in so many different areas, right? As men, a lot of times maybe we need help with our children, raising our sons, something along those lines, right? Do we invite other men into our home or into our circle? A lot of times, no. Right? This is my castle. Why? Because we don't want another man showing us up.
Why aren't we there ourselves?
I'm the king. I'm beating my chest. Yeah, I'm there, but maybe I don't have all the skills that I need to transfer to my child. Right?
So if you don't have that, why are you allowing somebody else to come in?
You said, why aren't I?
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the topic of the conversation. It's competition.
So who lets another man come in?
Someone who is secure within themselves, but a lot of us are not.
To do what?
To help us. It's the ego. The ego prevents us from getting the help that we need in a lot of cases. LaRon, I see you nodding your head a little bit there. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I was thinking, even when Mike was saying why not, and all the questions he was asking were very good questions. I was thinking of a quote that I heard by Les Brown, which was a very powerful quote. He said, ask for help, not because you're weak, but ask for help because you want to remain strong.
Do they know what strong is? Have they been around strong? Have they been around that environment? Have they facilitated in that type of environment now that would show them what now being up is instead of being down? And we see people and prostitutes going up and down the street in the inner city. Do we see black men being killed on the streets? Do we see black officers killing other black men?
This is what I would say. Not all black families are in shambles.
I never said they were.
No, I know. But what I am saying is that, what are we looking at? Now, we can look, because even personally myself, I've seen all those things too. At the same time, I chose not to live that way. I chose not to go that route. It was all a choice. God, forgive me. This is interesting. Wow.
But see, it wasn't a choice for me because my parents didn't allow me. Now it was a choice as I got older. Now the whole point was up on me. But what happened was I learned so much, and I decided I made a free will choice now to go in a certain direction, which in certain cases I still messed up. But somehow the environment and people like Elevated Men were around me. The NAACP, the SCLC, my church was around me. That was supposed to be a hospital. Is the church a hospital? The church should be the one now can infiltrate and come in and now help a family. The church is supposed to do that, but the church runs from that, and it's about money and programs and cardinals and Christmas and Easter, but it's not about moving in now to the very heart of where the hurt and the pain and the deprivation is for that family.
Yeah, but here's the problem. My hand, these individual fingers. Look, it's some strong brothers on this panel. So tell me, drywall is pretty easy to push through. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so if I took one of my fingers and I just pointed it and just went as hard as I can in the drywall, you know that I could actually still break my finger. But if I pull them all together and then I make a fist, I can punch through it easily. We will not make the fist because we individually want to say that I'm strong enough, and we're not. My individual organization is strong enough. It's not. My individual church with my small flock is strong enough. It is not. But we won't face that fact. Andrew,
I want to say, go ahead. I just want to make this real quick, going from what you said. That's very good. I think as well, just to add on there, is that many people are more caught up in the title and position than the character, than the mission at hand. A lot of people say, you know what? I am the mission. Take that out. I'm the mission. The vision, especially when we talk about the church and the leader, there is perfect. There's very good leaders in the church. I got a shout out to my Pastor Terry Bradshaw Jr., amazing man of God, amazing leader who leads by example. But there is a lot of corruption and different things that go on in the church. But at the same time, we have to learn, as far as a collective body, a collective people in business, whatever it is, that we, as an African proverb said, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. And I think a lot of us haven't learned to go together. So there's only so much of a distance that we made in comparison to how much we could actually make.
But the Bible says for the Christian, seek ye first, not man. Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven and its righteousness, and then all other things will be added. What are we seeking? Philosophy or poetry? Or God's word?
Okay, so now you said seek ye first the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is comprised of his people. And what we're saying is...
Go ahead.
The body of Christ is always talked about unity. Okay, from the day of Pentecost, when everybody was in one place, one mind, and one accord, things happened. All right. So the body of Christ always speaks about unity, but I would say that your perspective is going to change based upon how you were raised. Okay, we can say, just let somebody in your lives, let somebody help you. But when you were raised by a single mom and you saw her take care of everything for herself, when you get older, it's hard to break that mentality of let somebody else come in, especially when you have broken promises from other men in your life as you're getting older. It's hard to kind of switch that brain. So if you're raised in a 2-parent household, it's going to be easier for you to allow that help. But if you're raised by a single mom who struggled, who tried to make things happen and didn't really have help, then you kind of get that mentality on, whether it's right or wrong. But it's hard to break that.
Can I talk to what you just said?
Well, 1 second. Let's get the other fellas in here. They haven't had an opportunity to say anything as of yet. And so, Andrew, there's something that you always say, we become what we see. And as you listen to this conversation and you think about that saying that you use often, what are you hearing here? What are you hearing?
So I'm hearing a lot of stuff that I'm trying to relate to the purpose of the play and the comment made that started the conversation. The purpose of the play, I thought, was to identify man's ego and how it's destroying the community, and how man's ego is inside of the church. And then I heard the question, why don't men allow other men into their world, specifically into their home? And one of the answers was fear, which I agree. So just using that as a context, I'm looking at why a man would not allow another man into his household. Well, for one, he fears that that man will actually show his wife and everybody in his household some of his inadequacies. He invites someone who's more accomplished. One day, the wife may say, hey, why don't you talk to so forth and so on about updating your resume? He seems to be in a position to be able to help. Ouch. Damn. I know you didn't reference another lion in my den, so I'm not going to invite no man back into my house. Secondly, I equate that house to be similar to a church. Pastor, I went to visit so-and-so's church. Man, they got it going on. You should invite him over to speak to the people sometimes, because he is. I know you didn't just talk about another lion in my den. No. You don't point out my inadequacies. So that's why I don't even bring other lions around me, so that you will actually see how ferocious and how dominating they are, which will actually point out how non-ferocious and how non-dominating I am. No, that's not going to happen. So my ego protects me.
Lojo, are egos destroying the community? Is it limiting our growth? What's going on?
Oh man. Y'all didn't stack the deck. Yeah, without question. And it's a learned behavior, right? You talk about, as a young boy sees his male influences, and he sees that exact thing. He's like, well, they ain't let nobody in. So when they grow up and become lions, they carry that same mentality that, the coming together ain't for me. I have to do this on my own. I know for a very, very long time, there's a phrase, we used to use, which is play your position. Operating your greatness. Don't focus on what you're good at. Focus on what you're great at. Allow somebody else to focus in those other areas. And I think that concept scares people. That fear starts to come in, because we don't look at our inadequacies the right way. We focus on them as such a negative that we never even oftentimes position ourselves to strengthen those inadequacies in any factor. I don't know how to fish or hunt, but we're not going to reach out to any resources that are around us to learn how to do that. So maybe we strengthen that inadequacy in a way that maybe we don't have to bring another person in because we've learned how to do that. But it ultimately, for me, it comes down to a man's understanding of his role as a servant, and not the title of head honcho, but male serf. That is the biggest role that we do, even though we don't look at it like that. And so, when you connect to the understanding that as a man, you are to be a servant, which sounds beneath you in a sense, but it's the absolute truth. That's when you're able to really kind of separate yourself from those demons that, live inside of you. Because service is everything. It is the baseline of who we are as people. And I think oftentimes we just don't understand that that's really our role, and we never actually step into it.
Can I mention something with that?
Yes,
Please.
To piggyback on what he said, I want to say this about AL. I, for years, have been leading stuff, and people always say, "Book, listen, man, if you ever need help, bro, I got you." And at this point in my life, that kind of stuff goes in one ear, out the other. And I will say something about AL is that he came to me. He said, "Man, listen, I see you doing this and that with the play, man. If you need something, man, let me know." And of course, I'm just like, "Bro, I'm cool. Yeah, I'm good." But just on last week, he brought in drinks for people, and that's what a man does. You talk about serving. Just because you have your own thing going on and you're smart, you're intelligent. He's running elevating men. He can still subject himself to another man, and it doesn't make him less of a man. You have two different types of people. Okay, in my rehearsals, I would give everybody food prior, to rehearsals. You have one people saying, "Man, where's the food at, bro? Like dang, like you done gave us food, now you ain't got us food." And then you have another person that says, well, if he's not doing it, maybe he's already doing something over here, so let me help him over here. And so I think it's really important that as men we serve. If you serve, it's going. First of all, God sees it. Number one, but that's really what elevating men and destroying that competition. Whoever you feel like you may be in competition with, serve that person. Okay, love on that person, give to that man's ministry, and watch God do it for you.
Love that. I love that. Mike, something's been burning you up, brother. What you got to say? What you got to say?
Let me ask you a question. When you look in the mirror at yourself, who is your biggest audience?
At the time, myself.
Okay. So you can give yourself an applause, or you can say boo. Is that correct? And cut off the lights because you don't want to see you. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yes,
now,
sir.
I want to talk to Lauren. For the Christian, we are to serve God. Now, if we're not serving God, do we know our purpose? If we don't know our purpose, we don't know God's plan. Why? Because we want to have a relationship with him. We have more relationship with us. And when we put us in front of God, we end up going to hell in a handbasket in our mind. The changing of the mind has to be now what you put out. Now, here's another word called subliminal seduction. Look at what we listen to on the TV. Look at what we listen to on the radio, on the CDs. Look at how we now allow our kids to listen to this minutia and all these words. I got murder on my mind. I got mind on my murder and murder on my mind. And now they go downtown or they go down on 35th and Prospect and they kill someone. I'm not saying everybody, but there's a whole heck of a lot of people that do. Because now the subliminal seduction now seduces them into a situation of what they listen to through the ear gate. And it now gets into the mind gate and it ends up in the heart gate. Because there's not love. We have to teach love. We have to teach forgiveness, and we don't do that. What we do is we have people talking about, well, the Bible says turn the other cheek, but I ain't ready to turn that cheek yet. And all this type of thing that is not godly. God wants us to put ourselves in his way, but we get in our own way by the ideologies and the carnal mind of us. Satan is what now sets to kill, steal, and to destroy. But we alleviate. We take away from the prayer from the home, out of the school system. We take now God of the very premise that would make things work, and we put in programs, ideas, suggestions, and ideology that has nothing to do with breaking down a person from going to jail before he's 15 years old. Charity starts at home. And then it's spread abroad. Where's the charity? When I have prayer with but we have to make sure, and I'm talking to men out there listening, stay at home with your children. Now I want to talk one more thing to what Booker said, and he nailed it on the head. right? He grew up in a home in that type of trajectory, that type of situation, right? And so in my home, I grew up in a situation I could not identify with myself. I had two beautiful parents, right? But I did not identify myself with them. I didn't look like them. I didn't have the same personality. I couldn't identify with them. So I got into the bodybuilding so I can be something of my own. And so what happens that through all that, but they trained me to be a certain way. They taught me love and forgiveness. So after a while, God allowed me to stay here long enough that I learned, and God allowed me to change my heart so I could forgive. So I could place my situation now of overcoming situations that have become an enigma or a stigma into my life. God surrounded me and I allowed myself to be around the people that now share with me these different things that would help me. And so I'm saying to everybody here, it depends on who you serve. You can serve God or you can serve Satan. And I know I won't get a witness, but it's true. Satan has his pimps and Satan has his temps. And Satan can get into the very mind of the mind that is now in an obscure way that they can't see the forest for the trees. I say it's about prayer. I says it's about Christ. I says it's about not going to church, just shaking your hands and waving your hands. I'm saying about getting into it and having a discussion with God, talking with him, because he's real.
Hey, Mike, what does this have to do with competition?
It has a lot to do with competition.
Okay.
Because we're competing against ourselves.
Okay.
That's what it has to do. It starts with ourselves. It's not the other person we're competing with. We compete with ourselves because, like you said, we don't fear ourselves, we don't trust ourselves, and we don't know where to go with ourselves. Mm-hmm. So we take all those things and now pour it off into somebody else. Then it becomes a gigantic war. And we don't know how to fight it because we don't have the power. We look at programs and ideas and suggestions.
I just want to say this real quick, and I don't want to spark anything, but I do want to. Well, I do want to spark something. I want to spark thought. So, if I'm a young man whose fathers walked out on him, the connections that I have are the street guys and the street life, and my homeboys keep getting killed. And then I hear some guy walking up to me talking about God is love and God is patient and all of these great things. But I'm seeing all of these negative things in life. And you're asking me to just be cool with God? Like I'm just from a transparent and a pragmatic standpoint, you will lose young black men like that. You will not bring them in by shoving God down their throats. Now you can, you have to adjust your message to your audience. Sometimes you have to meet a person where they are. Sometimes you can't just punch them in the throat and shove God down.
But did I say I would shove them? Why are you saying that? I never said I would shove them. But what happens is that you're not showing them the good things.
Now let me
all the bad things. You're not, but I'm not shoving anything. I'm talking to you all just as men. Now, if I were talking to somebody else, of course I wouldn't have that type of vocal elevation. Of course, right now I'm passionate about it because I come from the streets where I came from, and I know what I see right now. And I talk to the brothers that I talk to on a daily basis, and I love them in a different way.
So what I would say is, if that's not your message to the everyday person.
Not to say everyday person. I said to those people that I feel would not comprehend what I'm saying. And I felt as I was browbeaten. I couldn't do them. I was sitting down. What's up, cuz? What's going on, boy? Okay. So let's rap. Let's talk. Let's bring it down. Where are you? And then we talk about where he is or where she is at that time.
And I'm not knocking what you're saying, because what you're saying has a very strong volume of truth. Well, all I'm saying is that, like, the people that are probably watching are people going through pain and trying to find a different path or a different solution to their problems. And so what I heard, and this is me knowing you and talking to you all the time, what I heard is you shoving God down somebody's throat. And so,
all right, now let me jump in real quick. First off, I got to say thank you to everybody who's tuning in. I see you all watching. We appreciate each and every one of you. There's some comments that have been going on over here. I just want to address Malik. You've been keeping the conversation going. We definitely appreciate you, brother. Melvin Lamont Brown, for those of you that don't know him, that is a good man who does a lot for our community. And so make sure that anytime he reaches out, anytime you see him, nothing but good things. Larnell Gregory Jones, that's one of my brothers from another mother, man. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you. And everyone who else is watching who you haven't made a comment, feel free. It is an open forum. As you can see, it's fully transparent. We speak our mind. And so if you have a comment, go ahead and drop it, and we'll definitely make sure that we can get to it. Listen, fellas, we're talking about competition, right? So here we are, 6 men who have various thoughts about this conversation. And literally right now, we're seeing what it looks like. We can't get where we're going because we're competing for time, for making a point. And we see it all the time. So when we talk about the organizations that could come together that don't, this becomes a part of it. When we talk about the churches that could combine and collaborate, this becomes a part of it. Because we get stuck in, this is my interpretation. Well, I interpret it this way. Well, I interpret it that way. And that's where we stay. We can never move past interpretation because everybody wants to be right. But when and how do we focus on a bigger picture, something that's big enough that we say, you know what, I do feel this way, but this bigger picture is so important that I'm willing to go with the flow.
They did that with the marches.
Okay.
They did that with the marches. They did that with the abolition time between 1867 and 1858 and 1867. They did it at that time. The anti-abolitionists did that. They did step into that. They did march on Washington in 63. They didn't have the return of now the Million Man March that they did. So
let me ask you this. Are we more united now than we were then? Yes or no?
No.
Right.
We're divided.
Exactly.
We are divided.
Exactly.
Because of the new generation has their own mindset. And see, I know everybody is like on one direction that they go because we from a different type and time and place.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I get it. I speak to leaders.
I mean, but we've got to get it. And so if we're saying that we were able to come together then, we were able to move ourselves from slavery to Jim Crow to a resemblance of freedom. And now we're so separate that we can't get anywhere past that. There's an issue. LaRon, what are your thoughts?
Well, again, it really comes down to, I say this, to be honest with you, insecurity and being secure in yourself really is what ends the competition. The truth is that competition is really within. Competition is a personal thing. Competition, when there's competition, the first thing you got to look at is how you feel about the other individual. And if you feel a certain way about an individual, you're the one who's starting the competition. Because people who are not in competition are people who don't look at competition. People who are not worried about the people who are opposing them. Whenever I have someone that feels some type of way about me, you know what I'm doing? I'm looking straight. I'm looking forward. I'm connecting with people who are in alignment with where I'm going, in alignment with the vision is greater than the vision, greater than I am. The person who can see that the vision is greater than they are. Competition is a personal problem. It's a problem because we shouldn't be in competition. We should be in collaboration. The reason why many things don't many things don't succeed is because we're divided. My favorite book says a house divided against itself cannot stand. And since we did mention the Bible and we have mentioned it a few times, we got to remember that unity is so doggone powerful that God confused the language, the human language, because of unity. But the unity that they had was in doing evil. It was about self. It was about how can I, make a name for self. So whenever we are in competition, we're really in competition with self, because competition is an internal feeling and issue that we have. So again, when you're pursuing a vision, the truth of the matter is this: competition is not a color. Competition is not a race. Competition is a personal problem that when we feel that we are competing against someone because we are putting our issues on them, I should be this, I should be that, I should be the other. No, wait your turn. And I heard somebody say, which is 100% true, we talked about servants. My favorite book says the greatest among you will be the servant. If you really want to be great, learn how to serve.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, LeRon, can I ask you a question? And I know you don't like what I'm saying.
Mike, Mike, 1 second. Let's give a couple other fellas an opportunity to speak. Andrew, I just want to know your thoughts on what LeRon just said. I'm very curious. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts that were, dang, somebody kicked LeRon, and he didn't like getting kicked back then. Shoot, he raised his voice and said, "Dang it!" Shoot, and yeah, that's what my thoughts were. Now, but no, seriously, yeah, service is a beautiful thing. However, the ego, if you look that up, and I'm trying to bring it back to the conversation, if you look up the ego, it is the balancing point or the deciding factor, so to speak, between the id and the superego. The id says it wants all these physical things and these other pleasures. And the superego is the consciousness that says, hey, maybe not. And the ego basically decides if it's strong enough. If it's strong enough. Some of us don't have a strong ego. Some of us don't have a strong enough judge or balance to weigh things, to find out if service is for others or for ourselves. Because self-service is also one of those services that a lot of men feel is quite all right, especially those men who said that I will never go hungry again, or my kids will never, or I, me, my, because that becomes their purpose. And all of that is great. What I heard Mike saying was the battle is internal. I agree with that. What I heard LeRon saying is something similar to if you're in competition with somebody, that's something that means you're in competition with yourself, or you're dealing with that inside yourself. For me, I look at it as animalistic, the competition. And the competition says that my dog will not bark until it sees another dog. My bird will not peck until it's pecking another bird. I will not actually put on my tennis shoes and go to the park until I see another black man bouncing a basketball. I don't do that for another white man. I do that when I see another black man, because I want to prove within myself who I am. And that is my problem. That is my ego that says that, am I still good enough? Am I this particular person? And I think that somebody in one of the comments before says, we don't know who we are. And that's still going on, which is why we have to prove ourselves. That's how I took LeRon's comment. He was basically proving himself.
I agree. Booker, I'm going to give our guest an opportunity to speak. Man, you heard a lot of different directions. For those of you that are just tuning in, this is Booker T. Fleming, musician, songwriter, director, producer, the whole nine. He's got a play coming to town July 26th through the 28th. It's not ministry, it's competition, which is actually impetus for this conversation today is the male ego actually destroying our community? Is it preventing us from collaborating? Is the constant competition what is tearing down our neighborhoods and our communities? And so, Booker, what are your thoughts on what you heard, man? This is good.
So it's a lot, man. My dad talks a lot, you know what I'm saying? So that's funny. But no, it's great. Can I see everybody's faces? I don't like looking at myself when I talk. I'm sorry.
For sure.
I'm sorry. That's kind of weird. I'm sorry. But anyways, I want to see if I'm making them mad too. Yeah, you talk too much.
Making me mad.
No,
what I say, I hope has substance.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, it's great, man. I love this conversation. But you know what? I'm kind of real. And I will say this: if we're having this, I love these kind of conversations. But if you're not doing something about it, then we're just talking. You know, a lot of pastors be like, "Hey, you know, we need to do this, we need to do that." But do you even have an outreach? How are you affecting your community? You know, and I really hate to. I can't put certain things out because people know I'm speaking of. But I've been a part of churches that make $500,000 a year and don't even have a church bus. Okay, so this is just crazy. Like, these conversations are good, but if you're not collaborating with somebody, if you're not building the Black man, if you're not addressing the issues and doing something about it, then, and that's what a lot of us, we do. We just have these conversations and we're not doing anything about it. You know what I'm saying? And so basically you just have the conversation and we log off and we go about our business. We're not connecting with nobody. We're not trying to build another Black man up. And that's what it is.
So Booker, with that being said, can you give us a vision, your vision of what it would look like if we let go of competition and actually got to work together?
Well, if we did that, it would be less organizations. It would be, some people would have to shut down. Some organizations would have to realize, hey, listen, maybe that church down the street and us coming together would be great. It would have to, people would have to sit back and think about their vision. Is that vision given to me from God, or is it my own personal thing? It would be a lot of self-reflection, but it would be a movement within our community that would be crazy. I can't walk to a gas station without seeing Arabs or Indians or whatever nationality they are. They hire their own nationality. They don't hire outside of their race. You know what I mean? If you go to different places, they connect as a group. And so what is it going to look like? It's going to look like a lot of us humbling ourselves and realizing, hey, I need help. So
love it. Got a comment from C. Siller. Thanks for tuning in. She said, "This is for men?" ? We are a male-focused organization, but our goal is to uplift the community, which includes women as well. And so that's why we love that you're here, and definitely share it with your network as well. We're a 501c3 organization. We focus on mental health and bringing men together so that they can be more happy, productive, healed, so that they can go out and be better for their families and the community at large. Andrew.
Okay, say that right.
He said, you want me to get it right?
Say it right.
So our mission is to create men that are happy, healthy, healed, and productive, because we believe that strong men build strong families and strong families build strong communities.
And what that means, Ms. Seiler, C. Seiler, is that strong man that's helping to build this strong family with his partner, his wife. These are one of the reasons that we're trying our best to help you all as well. But we have to help ourselves first.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we have hit our time. I think, Booker, you summed it up. What does it look like for us to stop competing? It looks like us dropping our egos and partnering with the next man and creating something bigger that's more effective, creating lasting institutions instead of something that's just, going to be around until we can't anymore. We have too much of that in our communities. Like I said, we have blocks with 20 churches, 20 different light bills, 20 different gas bills. and we're diluting the resources versus bringing them together so that we can, have community gardens, create schools, and affect change in our community on a mass level. And so I've appreciated this conversation. I hope all of you that are tuning in have appreciated the conversation as well. Before we get off of here, I do just want to recap a couple things that we have going on and coming up. I want to give everybody an opportunity to tell you goodbye, and then we'll go ahead and close. And so when I talk about the things that we have coming up, again, you've been seeing this unfamiliar face for the Elevating Men podcast, but I'm telling you, this is a really good brother. He has put together this play. It's not ministry, it's competition. Tickets are on sale now. The show runs from July 26th through the 28th. And if you look right there in the middle of the picture, I hate to point out myself, but this is the first time I have ever been in a play. And so I'm very excited for the opportunity. Before we move on from that, Booker, if you want to give them the information on how they can get their tickets and anything else you want them to know about the show, we'd appreciate it.
Yeah. So this is on Facebook. So look me up, Booker T. Fleming. You can connect with me right there. You can watch all of our trailers there. We have several trailers, and we have another trailer that's coming out tomorrow. Make sure you stay tuned for that. But you can connect with me through that. And then you can get a ticket from Booker T Productions Cash App. So Cash App, Booker T Productions. It's $25 for standard entry. I will put Melvin out. Melvin just hit me up, said, Book, can you give me a VIP ticket? I said, brother, you got to pay. Yeah, Mel. Yeah, I'm going to call you out, Melvin. But yeah, everybody trying to get a handout. But listen, $25 for standard entry, $50 for the VIP. VIP gets you up front and center. You get to eat dinner with the cast. You get to be served throughout the show. And Booker T Productions Cash App. You're going to put in the memo what day you want to come. If you want to come on Friday, just put, hey, Friday, one ticket. Standard entry, and we have your name locked down. You're going to come on in. We're going to get you right.
Love it. Love it. I got to address this comment really quick because he is one of our favorite people, Lamont Brown. He said, hopefully no one's offended by the comments or feedback. Absolutely not. Never. We do not get offended. Speak your mind. This is an open forum. We love it. If we didn't post it, it just was because they were coming in fast. The conversation was moving quickly, but we definitely appreciate every single comment. Keep them coming.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes, please.
When I first got to Kansas City, Melvin Brown was the first person to introduce me to anybody. I didn't know anybody, didn't know what I was doing. And my auntie showed me Melvin Brown, and Melvin took me on his wing. He got me into different churches. And in that first year, I went to about 80 different churches with my gospel choir. So shout out to Melvin Brown. I love you, man.
Absolutely. And we love him too. We love him too. The next announcement, guys, make sure that you mark your calendars for this. The Elevating Men and Oasis Church Men's Conference is coming to you July 13th. It's going to be awesome. We have free breakfast, health screenings, financial literacy. You can even talk to a therapist. We also have a couple pastors that will be in the building if you need to get your spiritual life in order. And so you don't want to miss this. If you do want to go ahead and reserve your seat because space is limited, you can call the number there on the flyer. Or reach out to any one of us that you see here on the panel through direct message on Facebook or whatever your favorite social media is. And so, again, the Elevating Men Oasis Church Men's Conference, July 13th. You do not want to miss that. Other announcement, we're back every single Monday, 8:30 p.m. So mark that on your calendars. We'll be back next week with another great conversation. Brother Patton, the fit pastor.
Yes, sir.
Anything you want to tell the people? Just any, closing words.
Well, I want you to drink plenty of water, and I want you to make sure that you stay away from high contents of fat foods. I want you to make sure that you get some type of exercise in, even 30 minutes of cardio, just walking slowly to build yourself up, to build your heart. The heart is the strongest muscle in the body. To try to get in 3 good whole meals a day. Put a little bit of salad, a little bit of carb. Carb comes down from things like potatoes, from rice, oatmeal, things like that. Try to get enough sleep and try your best to keep yourself connected and build that relationship with Jesus Christ.
Absolutely. How can people get in contact with you if they want personal training services, meal plans, or maybe even want to visit your church?
I've done it all for a long time. That's 816-916-3503. Come to the place where you get fit for the fit pastor. Now, what I do is I outline now dietary plans plans, workouts. I have the chance to even work with my son. He's done a phenomenal job. I have before and after pictures of him, and he's stayed consistent. I'm working with Brother Andrew right now. He's doing a tremendous job.
You will be taking that shirt off in the play, ladies. Just throw that out there. Throwing it out there.
Yeah. And then I'll have to just like side chesting, you know. But no, I have not the job. But you know, healthy and doing it the right way is always the best way. But you got to be shown where the right direction is to go the right way, and that's what I do.
Love it. We appreciate you. Yeah, Melvin, Ryan Harvey, he's going to be at the men's conference. So we hope to see you there. Man, that brother is powerful. And so I can't wait because I know that we're all going to be fed from whatever he has to bring us. And we'll definitely invite him on the panel before we have that event. And so be looking out for that. Brother Barnes, LaRon, the motivator. Any final words, thoughts, and how can they get in contact with you?
Absolutely. Listen, I am a motivational speaker, life coach, and a personal development coach. And I work with people who feel overwhelmed, overworked, and they underdeliver when they are pursuing their goals in life. If you're dealing with doubt, fear, low self-esteem, insecurity, or any limiting beliefs, we need to connect. I help you to get over your own limiting beliefs, your own self, and help you take action so you can step into your greatness. So definitely hit me up on here on Facebook. You can find me, LaRon Barnes, or you can actually go to LaRon the Motivator. Either way, LaRon the Motivator or LaRon Barnes. You can also find me on Instagram at LaRon08 as well. I got a lot of different things working on, and so just connect with me on that site, and then I have some other ways for you too.
All right.
Forget the motivational speaking. How do we get your teeth, brother? I mean, just asking.
Who is your dentist?
Right.
That is hilarious. Listen, you know what? A smile. I tell you what. Let me say this one thing, y'all. One of the things that I teach people is how to create the likability factor. And one of the number one ways to create a likability factor, which is where people are drawn into you and want to know more about you, hit them with a smile.
Love it. AB, Dinner and Dialogue. What's that? Restin2050.org. What is that you got on there? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another time because restin2050.org is what you're talking about all the time with elevating men. But Malik Good Vibes said we are the greatest at talkers. And I think the conversation had to do with all these churches on the corner. And you gave the greatest analogy of these 6 segments operating as 6 different churches on this particular panel. And then it says, but when it comes time for action, we're a no-show. So the action that I'm putting forth for us tonight is that by July 12th, the day before the play, all 6 of us and our families are going to move into Mike Patton's house and get rid of our different churches. We're going to move into Mike Patton's house. And we are going to start operating as a fist.
And that's Love and Unity Christian Fellowship, 7405 Paseo. Now, this weekend, we're giving a Fit Sunday. Wow, what's the Fit Sunday? We're not going to come in our certain suit and ties. We're going to come in sweatsuits, workout gear, because we're going to talk about how to get ready when Jesus comes. Because he said, be ye also ready, for you know not the day nor the time that the Son of Man shall come. So you got to be ready. And we're going to show you what the Bible says, how to exercise to get ready for that.
All right, love it. And last but certainly not least, and I gotta say this really quick. I have people when they say, hey, you know, your organization Elevating Men, your organization Elevating Men. This is not my organization. It is our organization. And the brother that is getting ready to speak to you, Lauren Jones, has helped me tremendously in building this platform. Over the last, what's it been, brother? About 4 years, 3 years. This man has been there for me behind the scenes. And that's what's important, man. You know, we could say a lot, we could do a lot in front of the camera, but when the lights go off and we're not on social media, this is a man that checks up on me regularly, not about what I could do for him, but what he could do for me. And so I appreciate him immensely. He's been riding with me. It's my ride or die. one of the best fathers that I know. And so, man, our vice president, Lauren Jones.
Shoot, I can just exit stage left on that one. I'm cool. No, I'll tell you, and I'll kind of piggyback kind of off of what you said, but one of the best decisions I ever made in my life was moving past the fear of connecting and connecting with Andrew. A lot of us live by that cliche, no new friends. So when I was introduced to Andrew, he was just another dude that was going to come and go. That's what my mentality was. But something just said, hey, give it a shot. The worst thing that happens is you're right. You know what I'm saying? That's the worst thing that can happen. The best thing that happen is you're 1000% wrong. And I'm so glad that I was 1000% wrong, because without that, I wouldn't have, half the blessings that I have in my life right now. I'm so proud to be a part of this, and help the building. We're still creating building blocks. This is just a precipice of what this is going to become. And connecting is so important. I mean, as people, we need people. That's just the truth. As AB says all the time, people are our greatest resource, and the more we tap in and learn to understand the similarities we have, and not ignore the differences per se, but just focus on those similarities and how we can help each other. That's when we become great. That's that moment of clarity for all of us. And so it's so incumbent that we continue to just move in the direction of love and collaboration, forgiveness. It's all real. It is all absolutely real. And however you go about the business of doing that, we're here. Elevating Men is here. And we welcome any and everybody, to join us in this process of, rebuilding, because it is something that is needed. It's the only way we are truly going to grow is to collaborate.
Listen, I ain't gonna hold y'all any longer, but I'm gonna tell you, there are some things that are going on behind the scenes. This is not just a podcast. This is how we just bring the conversation to the masses. But we've been to the state capitol. We've been doing a whole bunch of things behind the scenes. We've got a meeting Thursday with the therapist group. We're working. We're actively seeking solutions. We're not just talking. We're talking here, but we're working when we get off of here. And so just know that Elevating Men is out here trying to do our part. And we're just a piece of the puzzle. We're just a piece. And so if there's anyone else that we need to be connecting with, any other organizations, any other men, send them our way. We appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure that you tune in next week, Monday, 8:30 p.m., same time, same place, Elevating Men. We'll see you there.